the incident of the 1st June, the attack on General Katumba. Our hearts goes to the family for the loss of his loved daughter and his driver. In a very cowardly act, which took the life of the girl and the driver. Our condolences to the family. We have always been in touch with the general from the day of the attack, the time he was in the hospital, and even after he was discharged from the hospital. We, as the security forces, will leave no stone unturned to find the perpetrators of this act. We're working day and night, 24/7, with the help of the population, to ensure that we bring these culprits to face the law of this country. We shall not rest until the bad guys are brought to book. I remember I directed that the footage of the criminals be given to you by my team, which they did, because at times in society you will have a lot of doubting Thomases. That did you see the attackers? And that's why we decided to give you the footage of the attackers on that day. However, there are still many questions to be asked. If we saw them, then what? So what? The answers to that is that there was slow response to the incident from the police force. If there was quick response from the police force, we would have caught up with the criminals. Our teams of the foot patrols, motorcycle squads, and the 99 patrols were not alert. This is a fact. Why? Gap in communication. As much as the CCTV would give us, or our cameras would give us real-time intelligence, there is need for that coordination between real-time intelligence and the people who are supposed to act and execute. We have firmly reviewed the incident and come up with some robust programs to counter and detect surveillance on such hostile actors, to deny them any other future opportunities to attack. We would like to assure the public and the country at large that we are doing absolutely everything in our means, again, to find the attackers. Whoever were involved in the planning, the preparation, and the execution of the murders and assassinations will be got. As investigations continue, we have received a number of descriptions of the suspects. Some suspects have been arrested. I will not go into details into that. Our teams are conducting very objective and thorough investigations. and we shall have more to say as we get to know who were the attackers. What are the lessons learned from the attack? I was on the ground myself on that day, and I observed the following. One, there are still gaps within the CCTV cameras. A lot of gaps. The coverage is still low. And we are going to work on the gaps which are there to ensure that we cover, completely dominate the whole of KMP. I also observed that there was lack of timely communication between the CCTV and the response team on the ground. And that can only be covered by very robust communication systems. Thirdly, I also observed that there was lack of VVIP cameras to the command center. Apart from these other cameras which we have, there should have been other cameras on those vehicles that would be sending instant signals to the command centers of any action or any act of attack. And those are areas in which we are going to improve on. But be rest assured that the enemy of the people of Uganda took advantage when there were some lapses in security. We had tightened up security towards the election time, towards the campaigns, towards the voting time. I would also say during the election cycle, we had tightened up security. But the bad guys there took advantage when we slightly dropped our guard. There was a little laxity after the campaign cycle, after the election cycle. And that's a wake-up call to the forces, which we are going to improve on, and we shall improve on it very decisively. What are the lessons learned? We realize that our coverage is still low. I had time to walk from the scene of crime to the residence of General Katumba. It is 4.1 kilometers from the scene of crime. It was 4.1 kilometers. Not even a single camera was on that road. So you can see the gaps. And yet, there are junctions, there are roads which joins those that main road. So, of course, we need to have more cameras in some of those junctions, which we intend to improve on it. Of course, it requires funding, and we shall appeal to government to ensure that we concentrate on KMP, to ensure that all those gaps are the gaps which we have identified are worked on. Of course, some of the areas do not have the backbone fiber. Some of also our fibers had always been disorganized by the road networks when they're doing construction. It affects also the fibers. Our team has also worked with the people who are doing road repairs very effectively to ensure that the fibers, as much as it is tampered with, it must be clearly fixed back so that the camera is working. So all that we have observed it and see there are challenges that we saw. And that's what I was saying, it was a failure on our part. We take note of that, and lack of response from the forces on the ground to react to such a situation, narrow up the ground and get the attackers. That one we have acknowledged it, and we think it should be corrected. I've already tasked all the commanders on the ground to respond decisively whenever signals are sent out. It is not true that most of the incidents that have been happening have not conclusively been handled. It's only unfortunate that at times some of our people in the media, your memories are too short. Very unfortunate. You remember very well the killing, the abuse of the ladies and the killing of the women in Katwe. It's only unfortunate you don't want to embark on writing the good things. You are looking only for the negatives. It didn't take us time. We got the culprits. In Nakulabi, we got them. We got the person or the people who were abusing our girls and killing, burning their bodies. And they're in prisons. You remember, after the election cycle, they were throwing of bombs, petrol bombs. I would like to authoritatively tell you that all those culprits have been arrested, and we are taking them to court martial. It is not true that we are not doing anything. It is only you who are not doing anything, reporting it. If you are supposed to be our mouthpiece and the mouthpiece of the people of Uganda, then it should be you to be telling the people of Uganda. But because you think it's the success of government, at times you don't want to talk about it. We didn't see us arresting these people who had been abusing and killing the girls and burning their bodies. How comes that we apprehended all these people who had been throwing petrol bombs left and right very fast? So all this is being done. It is our profession to ensure that 24/7 we look for the bad guys. So it's not true that we have not concluded some of these. Our work is to arrest. And once we have arrested, we take them to the courts of law. That's what the Constitution gives us. Unless if you want us, you can, which is not my mandate. It's the mandate of the people of Uganda. I cannot be the same arresting officer and the trying officer at the same time. So if you go back again and revisit your Constitution and you say that is what this should be, then we welcome it. But for now, our work is to arrest and give it to the courts of law to try them. I have in my opening remarks, Mr. Kato, I said, no country, you need always to be very broad, you guys. No country is immune to domestic or external extremism. It's only until when you go to heaven. Even in heaven, there is Satan, Mr. Kato. So, you know, at times you are not broad enough. That's the most challenging thing I've seen with you guys. I can tell you, last week alone, 3 days ago, 17 people were killed in one incident in the United States. From January to now, 291 people were killed using gunshots. Look at that statistics. This is the most sophisticated country on Earth, on planet Earth. So, Mr. Kato, research. to understand that your situation is not worse than what you think. So we are doing all it takes to ensure that we give you security. However, even this security that you have entrusted with us is a shared responsibility. It is true. You have given us that task, but it's a shared responsibility. Kato, you will not go to your home and just leave the doors all open because you think, no, but General Lokech is there. He's supposed to look after me. We need the two of us to share that responsibility. What will be the responsibility of Kato? To close his door at night and go to bed and sleep. Not so. Then the rest you leave it to me. I hope you see where I'm coming from. We have taken details of all the guns. That's not true. There's still a certain percentage of the guns that we have not yet taken their details by our forensic experts, but we had been analyzing. We had been analyzing the cartridges which were used by the bad guys, and also analyzing the cartridges that had been previously used by other bad guys before. And then you look at the similarities. What you need to know, and take it from me, from a professional point, all guns have different characteristics. They're not the same. All guns. That's from our ballistics experts. No gun has the same characteristics with the other one. So all that is being compared, and then we narrow it within our investigations. So let's don't preempt some of these things. But we are going to do, I sent you the other footage. We are going to, I will talk with my investigators, can give you the front footage. But of course, as I told you, there had also been some delay with the people manning the CCTVs. At times you don't get some of my words, it is only yours. When I talk about real-time intelligence, that means I am talking about spot time, real-time intelligence. I'm reporting that I am seeing my friend Mr. Suleiman now, this is happening. That's what it means by real-time intelligence. There was some lapse that people were sleeping in that CCTV room. They should be the first people to alert us. We also appeal to you, the media, not to distort a lot of information that you are getting, and also to avoid creating panic in the population. It's really uncalled for. What the media needs to do during this time, or at times of challenges like this, you need to marshal the population together and bring the population together so that we focus on the threat instead of creating fear within the population. We have called this press briefing to update the country on the level of security and to inform the country that the situation is normal and calm. Despite some distortions and some alarms which were created. It is true that the events which occurred during the early hours of the 1st of June were tragic and shocking to the country. But to us, in the security circles, it was a wake-up call for us as security, and we have taken all measures to ensure that we learn from it and decisively deal with such situations whenever they would occur. You all know, as I do, that No country in the world is immune to lawlessness, domestic or external extremism. No country. It's upon the security apparatus to ensure that they control these bad elements from inflicting harm within society.